Hello everybody, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival, Mickey here. Hope you're all good. So, here's the last bit on the knives section, and this is the bit where I get into be safe, be sensible, abide by your local laws, rules and regulations. All over the world, the laws are constantly changing, and the reason they change is bad people do bad things, not good people doing good things. So unfortunately, those of you that are law-abiding, play by the rules, are sensible, are the ones that are punished by those that are criminals. Personally, I don't feel that knives or anything like that is the problem. It's the individual, and it's the individual we should concentrate on punishing, not removing the tools from those that use them legally and sensibly. However, I do agree with rules like no knives in schools. Why would you need to? No knives in hospitals. Why would you need to? No knives in certain other places. I agree with that. That does make sense. However, again, let's be practical about these things. After all, they are only tools. And so today I'm going to get into some of the tool side of it. Some of the more specialist things. And I'm going to start with a few things that might make you go, ooh, ah, okay. So we'll start off with the Go Lock. Okay, the Go Lock is a jungle knife. It's a survival knife. It's also an agricultural knife. Now I use this up the woods a lot because we're inundated with rhododendron, bracken and things like that. We have a lot of sensitivity up there with wildlife and also rare plants. So I don't want to use things like strimmers and stuff like that are, one, will create a lot of noise and upset the wildlife, two, are very indiscriminate. This item used in my hand, looking at each item I cut, means I only clear what I need to clear. And again, it's manual labour. It's not costing me anything in fuel. There's nowhere to plug in electricity, and I definitely don't want to use weed killers. So that is a practical tool for that job. That's why I own one. That's why I possess one, because it is a good tool for that job. Would I take it to the supermarket? Nah, of course I wouldn't. So again, being a bit practical and sensible about that, my thought processes. Again, we come back into some other tools that look scary. A bill hook, okay? So a bill hook, it's a traditional tool that is used for coppicing. Okay, this is for coppicing hazel, chestnut, in fact many other types of trees, and it has a specific use. That's why the blade is that shape. It's a damn good tool, and again exactly the same reasoning. It's a hand tool to be used accurately with practice and training to do the job it's meant for. There is in actual fact nothing that has ever been developed to beat the bill hook for things like hedge laying. Okay, hedge laying, fencing, fence maintenance, yeah, just all those light tasks in the wood. Okay, it's a great tool. It's a wonderful tool, and again, it would be a shame to lose those. Coming on, even scarier still, another bill hook, and again, this bill hook. And every county and region had a slight variation in their bill hooks for different jobs, okay? But this one is actually meant for hurdles, okay? This is a hurdle maker's hook, okay? Use it in coppicing as well, but again, this edge here was used for splitting, and that was mainly used for splitting the hurdles. It can also be used, because it has a slightly different profile to the front edge, for withies, canes and things like that if you're doing basket making. So again, a good traditional tool. It'd be a shame to lose them. Get those scary ones out of the way. Ooh. Let's get into some more scary ones. Okay, my rescue knife. That's my rescue knife. I talk about this knife often because invariably when I pull it out, people go, oh, look at the blade, it's scary. It's not. It is that shape for a practical reason. It is designed to take clothing, seat belts and other items off of a casualty. It is designed so that you can run under clothing and cut with it without risking the casualty. You can cut under a seatbelt with it without risking the casualty. And it is also a Lansky world legal knife. Okay, this is legal throughout the world at the moment. Blade is sub 3 inches, does not lock, okay, has no serrations on the back. Yes, it does have thumb jimping there to help with pressure if you're using it. The beauty of this knife is that if you did attempt to stab somebody with it, it will close. Okay, that's one of the reasons again for the shaping of that blade. Makes it non-aggressive, and when it does close, it pinches your fingers but it doesn't cut them. It's a brilliant design, it's a simple design, it's a rescue tool. Again, it's one of the reasons why it's bright orange. End of the scary ones, I think, my friends. So let's get on to something a bit more interesting. Okie doke, my EDC. So my EDC for many years was a Leatherman. That's my Leatherman Wave. Okay, a brilliant tool. UK law has made it a bit awkward to carry these because it has this lock here. You can disable the lock, and I did for a long time. However, I was never completely happy with it. I like a tool to do what it says on a tin. Now, UK law says that I can have this locking bladed item with me if I have a specific reason to have it with me, i.e. a usage. So if you're using it as part of your tools of your trade, that's not a problem. Walking into the supermarket would be illegal. So when I'm up the woods, yes, I've re-engaged the locks, and quite often I'll carry that on my belt because it has so many uses up there. Now, let's go through the usages and the thoughts. Well, let's hit this blade first. This blade is the one that's most often misunderstood. I've had people say to me it's the world's most useless saw. It's not a saw. That is actually a rope knife. That knife is designed to cut rope and cordage. That's what it does, and it does it very well. Okay, not so practical cutting many other things, but we'll go through a piece of climbing rope like a hot knife through butter, especially if you've got tension on it. Okay, so that's what that's designed for. We've got the standard blade on there, and on the other side the most commonly used item for me, which is the file. Now that is a diamond file. The beauty of that diamond file for me is I can use it to sharpen knives. So quite often this gets used for sharpening my knives when I'm up the woods if I need to do a repair on the go. Okay, it's a nice edge. It's got a coarser metal file that side, which on occasion when I've chipped an axe and I've had to, I can use that to file out the axe and then use the diamond just to hone an edge back in on it, as well as having the pliers. Absolutely brilliant tool. Wire cutters, but more importantly the amount of times I've had to take something hot off the fire, you've all seen me do it, cup speakers and things like that, it saves my fingers. Okay, and then on top of that you've got the usual tin opener, bottle opener, screwdriver, so on and so on and so on. But that's it. Leatherman EDC, great tool. I would suggest to most people actually have one in the car, okay, but don't have it in the front of the car. Don't have it where it's easy to get to. Chuck it in a tool bag. If it's in your tool bag in the boot, it's not illegal. Why is it there, sir? It's a pair of pliers, it's a knife, it's a screwdriver, it's all the little things that I might need when I'm out. What if I need to cut a piece of string? What if I need to cut a belt? What if I need to cut this, that or the other? Trim a pipe back in the car. Okay, so again, that would be a justifiable reason to have it in your tool bag in your boot. It's not readily to hand. You wouldn't be breaking any rules or regulations. So again, that's why I have one. When I'm travelling to and from the woods, it's in the pouch, in the bottom of my bag, again, in the boot of the car. Get out the woods, get the bag out, put it on. It's legal for me to have there. Pain in the arse, I don't like it, but that's the law, and being a law-abiding channel, we do obey the rules. Right, another one that freaks people out occasionally when they see it, okay, is this one. Now, this is not a flick knife. This just is a scalpel. Okay? If it was a bigger knife operating in that manner, I would probably be concerned about carrying it. It doesn't lock, okay, but that lives in my first aid kit. That scalpel's in my first aid kit for dealing with emergencies, okay. Those emergencies might mean that I've only got one hand free, and that's the bonus of that item there, okay. It's a scalpel. It's a very, very fine edge. It's not practical for a lot of things, but as a scalpel, it's brilliant. And I carry spare blades for it. So that lives in the first aid kit with first aid items, because it's a first aid tool. Whew. Other knives I carry, okay. So in my EDC, which isn't an EDC, because it's only my EDC when I'm going out on adventures. So maybe it should be my ADC, my adventure carry kit. ADC, ADK, adventure, no, ACK, adventure carry kit. There we go. So it lives in a pack tucked away, and again for exactly the same reason. It's a small single bladed knife that is carried deep inside my pack for those jobs that I may need to do out in the woods or on my ventures, camping and so forth. It's not an aggressive knife, it's a simple blade, it's short, it's simple, it's sweet, it is bright orange, you can see it, I'm not hiding anything, but it's immensely sharp and does all those little tasks you may need it to do. Great piece of kit to have with you. Again, not carried readily to hand on my person as per se, but in my kit. Okay, great simple tool to have with you when you're out and about. In places where I can't carry that, I carry this. And with the exception of places that are listed in the UK where you are not allowed at all a blade, centres of cities, hospitals, law courts, places like that where I wouldn't carry it, everywhere else I do. Lives on my keychain normally with my car keys. And again, because it's a little Swiss Army knife, why do I like it so much? Got simple blades to do simple tasks. It's got screwdrivers, it's got bottle openers, it's got can openers. Okay, more importantly to me, it's got a good little pair of scissors, and they are very efficient scissors. It also has on the back here a hook, and that hook is immensely helpful for very many tasks, from tying bootlaces, carrying things, opening cordage, undoing knots, even making cordage, making wire, twisting wire. It's 101 uses. It's a great tool, and it's got an awl on there, okay. And the awl on this is just a simple little awl, handy for doing emergency repairs on kit, opening out holes and things, putting raw plugs in. It's 101 uses. And again, on the personal side, has a fantastic pair of tweezers, which this year I discovered was brilliant for removing ticks. Okay, also great for pulling out splinters, thorns and all those small annoyances. And again, just in case you've gone out for a meal and you've got a bit stuck, or you've had your steak up the woods, you've got a bit stuck in your tooth, a toothpick, which also has 101 other uses. It only has 2 blades on it, neither of them lock. I have a small blade, which I tend to keep back for food processing. Okay, so if I'm going to cut something I'm going to eat, I use a smaller blade to do that. I keep it as what I would call a hygienic blade, although it's on the knife with the others. And that is my general purpose blade. That gets used for all the other little tasks that I may need to do. Got a little glow tab there, a little button that glows in the dark, and like I say, lives on my key rings. Simple. Nothing in that breaks any UK law. In actual fact, under UK law, everything is sub 3 inches, nothing locks, nothing's aggressive, nothing's got spikes, daggery bits, exploding bits or anything like that on it. So under UK law, I don't have to justify having that with me, as long as I'm not in a place where bladed items are prohibited. Okay, check on your local laws. Other little knives that I like to have with me, and I will call specialist knives, are things like the Opinel. Okay, and as you saw on my video the other day, I really like the Opinel. Now it does have a lock on here, as somebody pointed out in the comments, but the lock is a pain in the arse, right? I tend not to use it, to be honest with you. It's a folding knife. I just respect it as a folding knife and am careful with it. Now, these are one of the best slicing knives you will ever find out of the box. Okay, as a slicing knife, I really say out of the box it is second to none. So for food preparation, filleting, even if you had to have a second knife for game preparation and that, they're a brilliant knife. Not well. The only downside for food and game is obviously that is wood, it's beech, it's got a slot there, clean it out can be a pain in the arse. But again, if you're practical and sensible with it, it's brilliant. And they are an absolutely beautiful, simple knife. Okay. There's nothing complicated about them. It really is a design that goes back, stands the test of time. It's the sort of thing that your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather would pick up and understand straight away. Last of what I would call the specialist knives is this little Mora, which is a Mora whittling knife. It's a great little whittling knife. I use it for carving and things like that. It's short enough to be controllable. It's a fine enough blade to get in and do bits and pieces. It's a great starting knife for anybody that wants to start whittling spoons, making tri-sticks, anything like that. Quite cheap and affordable, but also actually will go into your kit under listing food preparation again, because that is one of the best boning knives I've ever owned. So if you're boning out meat, they work absolutely superbly. So again, specialist knives, that's what I do. Couple of bonus items thrown in here. I've already said about using the diamond blade on the Leatherman for sharpening things and up the woods, but other sorts of sharpeners that you can get and carry. A simple diamond sharpener like that, it's worth having in your pack. If you wanted to, you could take the handles off and just keep it like that. But that has a 400 and a 600 grit. That's good for maintaining edges, keeping things sharp, and will work very, very well. If you want to go smaller and even more discreet, or even in your survival tin, that's a little diamond stone, but it's got a highly reflective back on it. So again, with a bit of a polish and a wipe, because it's got a bit manky, but with a wipe, I could use that as a signalling system if I had to. Simple, fine. The downside with this, it's a bit on the small side, so actually working it on the blade or taking the blade to work on it, it's not quite so efficient. Lastly, but not leastly, and these I like, and I used to carry these all the time with me because they are a brilliant sharpener, and that is just a simple diamond file. Okay, that's all that is. Okay, made in Germany. You can pick them up quite cheaply. The profile's already on there for most knives, so if you hold it flat to the knife, you have the profile on there. So if you take something like that, okay, the profile's already on the sharpening stone, so by holding it flat to it, it will sharpen. They're a great tool to have with you, and again, it's another option for your sharpening tools. The nice thing with this one, it packs away like a pen. It's discreet, so you could carry that in your kit quite discreetly, two hand. Nobody would even know what you had, they'd just think it's a pen. And it's good for sharpening. That's it. Specialist knives, I bet you expected a lot more than that, but that's about it, to be honest with you. Bushcraft knives, I don't class them specialists because pretty much everybody's got one now, and pretty much everybody knows what to do with them. Yeah, there are many hundreds of types of knife, whether it be fish knives, filleting knives, game specialist game knives with garroting hook, or yeah, garroting hooks, gralakin hooks, saws built into them, all that sort of thing. But again, it's find what you need. Whatever field you're going into, I can bet you can find a knife to fit it. Anyhow, just a selection of my specialist knives. Guys, hope you've enjoyed this section on knives. Hope you found it interesting. That's my 3 pieces on knives. Next video will be on packology. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care, have fun, stay safe. Find out what your local rules and regulations are wherever you are in the world, and abide by them. Don't get yourself into trouble. But more than that, get outdoors, have fun, have your adventures. Love those you do, forgive those you don't, and as always, this is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Peace and light be upon you all. Mickey out.